Saya masih live YouTube.
Selamat siang Bapak Ibu dan rekan sekalian. Perkenalkan saya Nurma, MC dalam kegiatan webinar kali ini. Kita masih menunggu peserta lainnya yang akan hadir bersama kita. Mohon bersabar dahulu.
Life as a Citrix administrator is not easy. Your phone rings off the hook, users complain at slow logins and choppy audio, your inbox is always full, and you can't answer chats fast enough. And the management wants you to do more with less. What you need is a way to take the weight off your shoulders, a virtual assistant that can make your life a whole lot easier. Say hello to EGInnovation, the virtual assistant that helps you find the exact root cause of every problem. A Citrix deployment involves many tiers of software and hardware working together. Say a VM virtual platform slowdown can affect the other tiers. But for users, it simply translates into their desktop being slow. With EGInnovation's automatic root cause diagnosis technology, you get ready answers in one click. With this powerful capability, you can save time that you would otherwise spend firefighting. If a user called you about a problem when you are not around, or your manager did, you're covered. Thanks to EGInnovation. Because 2 decades of Citrix technology experience has gone into creating EGInnovation. It collects all the key performance indicators about your Citrix service 24/7. It's good to diagnose problems after they occur, but isn't it better to solve them before users even notice them? Think about it. You would be a hero. Using a mix of synthetic and real user monitoring capabilities, EGInnovation tracks the experience of your users 24/7. Our machine learning and auto baselining technology provides all the early warning indicators you need to initiate corrective actions in advance. Comprehensive metrics give you all the data you need to create detailed reports, including user analytics of Citrix Workspace. You also get insights that help you scale infrastructure. And with a single click, you can plan and regulate CPU memory. All in all, EGInnovation makes you look good to your users and your management. Get started today with a 30-day free trial.
Introducing Speechalo, the most natural sounding text-to-speech software on the
Baik Bapak Ibu, kita akan mulai webinar hari ini. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang Bapak Ibu dan rekan sekalian. Terima kasih atas kehadirannya. Jika ada pertanyaan dapat disampaikan dalam kolom chat atau dapat bertanya secara langsung. Untuk pertanyaan terbaik akan mendapatkan voucher OPPO senilai Rp100.000 untuk 3 orang terpilih. Webinar ini didukung oleh Aptiknas, Asosiasi Pengusaha Teknologi Informasi dan Komunikasi Nasional, Event Cerdas, Mitra Transformasi Digital Anda, dan media partner biskom.web.id, portal IT dan media hukum. Kami dari Daya Cipta Mandiri Monitoring selaku partner dari EGInnovation, dan dalam kesempatan kali ini kita akan membahas monitoring your digital workspace. Saya berikan kesempatan pertama kepada Bapak Pangki Christian untuk menyampaikan sambutannya sekaligus menjadi moderator dalam webinar kali ini. Silahkan Pak.
Ya, terima kasih Mbak Norma. Selamat siang Bapak Ibu rekan-rekan semua. Selamat bertemu kembali dalam sesi webinar kami di DCM Group. yang kali ini mengangkat tema terkait dengan digital workspace ya. Jadi ini banyak juga yang mungkin tanpa sadar sebetulnya selama pandemi kita bekerja ya dengan berbagai tools dan mungkin toolsnya tadinya kita akses itu ada di kantor, sekarang kita bisa mengakses itu ada di laptop kita masing-masing. Dan inilah yang nanti dikenal, yang sekarang ini dikenal sebagai digital workspace ya. Jadi dengan satu environment kita cukup masuk ke dalam environment environment laptop, mungkin browser ya, umumnya melalui browser. Kemudian kita bisa melihat semua file-file kita yang ada di kantor atau mungkin ada di cloud dan mungkin juga di tempat-tempat lain yang kita simpan ya. Jadi inilah yang disebut menjadi digital workspace dan yang menarik sebetulnya digital workspace ini juga banyak isunya ya. Jadi banyak isu yang terkait dengan digital workspace yang saya coba cari informasinya ataupun dengar dengan masukan-masukan ya. Jadi yang pertama adalah biasanya adalah compute atau storage resources-nya ini nggak cukup. Itu biasanya isu yang paling banyak. Kemudian ada problem terkait dengan akses file shares-nya ya. Jadi file sharing ya kan, kalau dengan digital workspace kan biasanya ada file sharing. Nah, kemudian juga ada masalah yang paling besar di Indonesia adalah masalah WAN connectivity. Jadi lambat lah melalui jaringan internet ataupun jaringan yang disediakan ya. Nah, tapi ada juga beberapa terkait dengan application design. Jadi application-nya mungkin tidak sesuai atau tidak bisa diakses secara browser atau remote gitu ya. Jadi ada improper application design, ini yang seringkali juga menjadi masalah. Nah, satu yang berikutnya lagi adalah terkait dengan client device. Nah, ini client device problem juga ada problem ya. Meskipun sebagian besar problemnya biasanya kaitannya dengan kita punya laptop pada umumnya. Tapi sebetulnya kita bisa akses juga kan melalui tablet mungkin ya dan lain sebagainya. Nah, itu yang kita akan coba bahas pada kesempatan siang kali ini. Jadi ada slow performance, slow application response time itu ya. Kemudian itu yang paling banyak biasanya menjadi problem. Kemudian berikutnya lagi adalah karena kita kebanyakan native ataupun aplikasi kita runningnya di Windows ya, biasanya pada waktu dia up gitu lama gitu ya, booting up dari si virtual desktop kita gitu ya. Jadi itu yang paling banyak. Kemudian ada juga problemnya apa? Mouse-nya freeze ya atau kursornya freeze gitu. Ini nggak tahu masalahnya di mana ya, apakah di jaringan atau di mana, itu yang seringkali juga muncul ya. Ada juga jitter ya terkait dengan video, biasanya lag gitu ya, lambat gitu ya. Kemudian mungkin ada beberapa case terkait dengan antivirus software yang malah jadi ngunci virtual machine kita gitu ya. Dan kemudian juga mungkin ada masalah dengan performance issue karena ada kita running video yang mungkin cukup berat gitu. Nah, semua problem-problem ini muncul di dalam berbagai case implementasi dari digital workspace. Nah, apa saja yang digital workspace ada di Indonesia? Yang pertama itu paling banyak ya sampai sekarang mungkin Citrix. Yang kedua adalah Horizon dari VMware. Jadi ini yang dua ini menurut saya yang paling banyak ditemukan di Indonesia. Mungkin ada beberapa lagi yang lain, karena kami juga di DCM juga menjual beberapa solusi lain yang jauh lebih murah, itu juga ada gitu ya. Nah, yang kita dalam kesempatan bahas siang kali ini, kita akan bahas tentang itu, ya, tentang monitoring your digital workspace dengan menggunakan satu tools namanya EGInnovation, ya. Nah, nanti presentnya dalam bahasa Inggris, tapi jangan khawatir, nanti sedikit banyak saya akan bantu translate beberapa hal yang mungkin nanti akan menjadi bahan yang dipresentasikan oleh partner kami, prinsipal langsung dari EGInnovation yang berbasis di Singapura ya. Nah, hadir bersama dengan kita siang kali ini ada dua orang. Yang pertama Timothy, yang kedua Anthony Nirmal. Hello Anthony, are you listening?
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Anthony will present about the EGInnovation solution. Yeah. After that, during the presentation, we can also ask the question. Ya, Bapak Ibu bisa tanya langsung aja di kolom chat ya, ketik di kolom chat. Nanti kita akan bahas setelah Anthony finish the presentation ya. We will discuss the question after Anthony finish the presentation. Okay. I will pass to Anthony, so Anthony can present the detailed solution how the EGInnovation can monitoring our digital workspace. Yeah, hand over to you, Anthony.
Okay. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Let me share my screen. Hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes, already.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm Anthony Nirmal. I've been part of EGInnovations for more than 16 years. So today I'm going to deliver what we can do it for on the VDA side. So typically, you may have some understanding of what is VDA, or you may not have, you may not know what is an VDA. That is well and good. So we will cover from the basics. So that means like I'll talk about what is VDA and what benefits we have, and what are the typical VDA offering, because this technology is offered by multiple vendors. So we will talk about the top vendors in the VDA market space as well as the challenges. Then again, we will tell you like if there are challenges, then how we can help to address those challenges. So all these things we are going to talk today as part of this webinar. Okay. So finally, like I'll be showing a live demo of like based on a VDA scenario. So that also really helps how this solution helps to address to find the challenges whatever you are encountering in the VDA. Okay. Then finally, we will leave it for a Q&A. You can ask questions in the middle if you have challenges in understanding the flow or in understanding the English. So I'll be talking in English only. So if there are challenges, you can pause, and here and there the partner will help to do the translation. That's how the webinar flow goes. Okay. So now let me talk about the company. So basically, EGInnovations offers a performance monitoring tool which helps to monitor your infrastructure as well as application. Okay. So what we do is we look at every layer. Every layer means we start with the user, we start with the network, we start with this web layers, application layers, backend database layers, and tell you where is the real problem. We do the correlation across the tiers and tell you where is the root cause. We are not telling everything is a problem. We will tell you what is the root cause. Okay, that's the value we add in the problem detection and troubleshooting. So we have been in the market more than 2 decades. Our global headquarters is Singapore, and we have physical offices all these places, and this is our global presence. And most of the places we work with partners. Okay, so this is about what EG is all about. Now, here you could say different sectors where we have our presence. So we have a strong presence in the Singapore government, and we have presence in the other non-government sector also, like telcos, then finance, healthcare, insurance, and banking. So I have been mentioned the customer names, but this is talking about the different sectors where we have our presence. Okay. So moving on, this one slide is talking about what EG is all about. So basically, EG works on 2 different areas. So one is that infrastructure monitoring. Okay. So when you say infrastructure monitoring, so you may have servers, you may have devices, maybe different devices, like it could be an hardware device or devices on the network stack, right? Or you may have different web servers, application servers, database servers, or you may consume cloud services also. Also, you may consume the VDA services from any of the VDA offering, right? So what we do is like we do this infra monitoring. Then what we do is like we monitor the applications also, because you need infra to host your applications, right? So we cover both. We cover infrastructure monitoring, we do application monitoring, and we correlate the things, right? We correlate the things and tell you whether the problem is really on the application side or is it on the infra side. So this is the significant advantage that you can get as part of this offering. Okay, so we are not telling, hey, application is slow, something with a DB. right? Or we are not telling, the network is slow, not like that. Okay, so we are a tool focus on both infrastructure as well as application monitoring and tell you where is the real problem. Okay, so as part of this application monitoring, we support Java, .NET, PHP, and Node.js technology, and you can get the user experience. You can measure what the users feel whenever they access the application. Do they really feel good or bad, or is it a moderate user experience? All these things we can measure. You can trace all these activities. We can give visibilities into the application, code level visibility. All these things we can give you. Again, as part of infra monitoring, we look at end-to-end. End-to-end means we start from the user and we look at all the layers till the storage and tell you where is the real problem. Again, we help to visualize your application or infra architecture, right? And we can do the correlation. That is also possible. Again, we use many machine learning techniques to do the auto baselining, and this really helps to raise the alerts at required times so that you can do the diagnosis and troubleshooting at right time, right? So it's a single pane of glass, right? So you can have any monitoring. Maybe it may be related to application, related to digital workspaces, or related to infra. Still, we support all these things. We use converged application and infra monitoring, and in a single pane of glass, what we do is we present the health so that you can understand. It's a single unified dashboard, so you can understand what is going in your infrastructure, right? So the other features, right? So we help you with the diagnosis. We are not telling you, hey, these are the problem. No, if the user access is slow, we will tell you why the user access is slow. Again, we will alert you. We have reports. We have reports for day-to-day operations. We have reports for doing capacity planning, root cause analysis. So a lot of reports available. So all these things we are going to talk about as part of the webinar. So this one slide talks about what EG is all about. Okay. So now we will start the agenda for the webinar. So today we are going to talk about the digital workspaces. Okay. So now some basic terminologies related to VDA. So like what is VDA, right? So what is VDA? So it is delivering desktops or application to end users from a remote location. So we have a remote data center, we consume desktop and we start to work on it, right? So we have a lot of scenario. Basically, we use a local area network or we use a wide area network to access the desktop. Again, when you deliver the desktop, only we present the image, not the complete desktop, right? So they can consume the desktop from the mobile device or from the desktop, right? So they can use any browser, any device to consume it, right? So the scenarios, right? If you look at the scenarios, maybe like we use this VDA for financial, healthcare. Again, nowadays work from home is very common, right? So we can use it for work from scenarios also. So BYOD is bring your own device. That means you can use or you can use your corporate devices or your own devices like to manage the desktops, whatever the desktop access from different devices. That is also possible, right? So this is talking about what is VDA. Okay, so use cases like yeah, these are the different use cases. Okay, so now we can see some advantages, right? So advantages is like, yeah, it is more secure, right? Because I want to have a secured workplace, right? So it's more secure. So most of the processing is done on the like server side, right? Again, it is very fast. Again, like if you want to patch it up, then it is easy because image is managed centrally. Again, low cost endpoint because you need not buy a laptop or you need not buy a very high end configuration client, right? So it's low cost, right? So these are some advantages of having this VDA, right? So this is generic. This is generic. Hope you might have aware of this, but still I wanted to touch base for users who is having a less understanding of the VDA space, right? Now, so what VDA solutions available in the market, right? So typically, if you look at the top vendors in the market means like, so VDA is offered by Citrix, right? So the product name is CVAD. Citrix desktop and virtual apps, right? So this is from Citrix, and the same is offered by VMware. We call it as Horizon. Again, the desktops offered from the cloud also. So this is from Amazon as well as through Azure also. In Azure, we call it as AVD, which is nothing but Azure Virtual Desktops, right? So same thing from Amazon, which is Amazon Workspaces. So these are top VDA offerings. So you may use Citrix, or you may use VMware, or you may migrate to cloud in future, but still we support all the technologies. That's what we are coming to say, right? So EG Enterprise is one of the solution which is supporting all the digital workspace offering, right? Now we will talk about the challenges, the traditional challenges. So this is not bound to technology. It could be related to Citrix. It could be related to VMware. It could be related to cloud also. So the challenges are common. Or what is damaging the VDA user experience, right? So typically what you are trying to do, you try to log on to a desktop, right? You try to log on to a desktop, the logon might be slow, right? Let's say if the logon is success, you try to access an application, or you try to launch a desktop. You try to launch a desktop, right? It may be success or failure, right? So if it is success, you are working on, but suddenly the session gets disconnected, right? So this is also another challenge. So your session might be good, but you try to type something, but the keystrokes are very slow, right? So the keystrokes are very slow. You try to print some document, the printing action is slow. Again, like you have a multimedia application, you want to play the video, again the video is choppy. So these are typical challenges, right? These are typical challenges which is damaging the user experience, right? So user experience is very key. Like any application delivery, either digital workspace or some other technologies, the user experience is very key, right? So how can I make my user happy, right? So logon should be faster, application launch should be faster, no session disconnects, again the latency should be faster, again like a playback, everything should be faster, right? So when I improve all these things, my VDA user experience is good, right? So we are going to look at like how is the logon, what is the application launch, are there any disconnects, like what is the latency, like how is the printing is happening, like are there any bandwidth related issues when I play the video. So all these things we are going to measure as part of this VDA monitoring, because this determines the user experience for any VDA user. Okay. So now the another challenge, right? You try to access an application, right? Then it is slow. It is slow. So we don't know why it is slow, right? So it could be slow on the client side. My client might use a 2G network. So he is accessing the application from the mobile. So it is slow. It could be related to users network, or it could be related to on the data center side, right? So when you take any VDA platform, it contains different components. Like we call it as something connection server or broker. We have XenApp. So we have the hypervisor. So we have supporting infra, because we need Active Directory, we need file servers, we need user profile management servers. So a lot of servers as part of this ecosystem. So we need to look at each and every layer. We don't know, right? We don't know where the problem is, right? So this is another challenge when the user experience is not good. Okay. Now, so again, yeah, when you have any kind of infra or application, so typically you will have tools, right? You will have multiple tools. So Citrix also comes with its own monitoring tool. So we call it as Citrix Director, right? It's a native monitoring tool, which is good for only the native stack. That means you can monitor the Citrix related technology, right? But if you look at this, this is not only Citrix. We have users network, connection server, then what the user is doing, then platform, cloud or virtual platform, again my supporting services, all these things, right? So when you have this director, this gives visibility only into the Citrix layer, which is good, right? I can look at what is going on within Citrix, but non-Citrix here, it is difficult, right? Again, there are silo-based approach. That means, so every tool has its, every technology has its own native monitoring offering. Like VMware, we use VCOps. Storage, you have other console, right? Then for network hardware, you have different one. Networks, you have different one. Then for Windows, maybe you may look at event logs, or you can look at the task manager, right? So these are different consoles. These are different console, but I don't know what to do, right? So this is the status of an admin who's managing the entire thing, right? So these are different console. This is an silo based approach. Then I am confused. I don't know what to do, right? Or where to start. Should I look at the Citrix, or should I look at the network, or should I look at the hardware side? Where is my root cause, right? This is time consuming. And so you may have this scenario also, because you may have different tools. So looking at each and every tool and consolidating all the findings and finding the root causes very cumbersome, right? So this is one of the biggest challenge. I don't know what to do, right? I don't know what to do, where to start. This is my another biggest challenge. Okay. Now, so this is another one. So there are tools. So you may have physical workloads, you may have virtualized workloads, you may have cloud workloads, right? So there are tools which does well on the physical infra, may not do good on the virtual, or may not support virtual workloads, or not compatible with cloud also, right? So this is also again, because the workloads can be part of anything, right? It can be part of cloud, it can be part of virtualized, or it can be part of physical, right? So I don't know, right? My workload can be on any infrastructure. So it's an fragmented, right? It's an fragmented. So tools may not deliver the required visibility. So this is my another challenge, right? So we have multiple challenges. We have multiple challenges in the VDA ecosystem. So how can I make the user happy, right? So it should be available all the time. So either service from Citrix or VMware or any cloud service, it should be available all the time. Again, my logon should be faster. Then should be throughput should be higher, right? Then again, like reliability. These are reliability related. If there is a downtime, then able to repair the service as soon as possible. So when I fulfill all these, like my availability, responsiveness, reliability, when I perform, when I meet all the parameters, I can make the VDA user happy, right? So we saw few challenges. Then now we know like how to make the user happy. So how to make it happy, like, or how to address all those challenges with our solution. So that are the things we are going to see in the upcoming flow. Okay. So you want to translate?
Ya, jadi Bapak Ibu rekan-rekan tadi yang disampaikan beberapa case-case dan permasalahan yang mungkin muncul ya terkait dengan VDI ya, implementasi dari virtual desktop yang seringkali memang melandasi penggunaan di dalam digital workspace. Nah, ini biasanya adalah isunya yang menjadi concern dari user adalah availability ya. Jadi apakah ini available di setiap waktu atau malah performingnya bagus apa enggak gitu ya. Biasanya yang tadi seperti yang saya cerita ada low response time, ini juga sering kali muncul, dan juga high throughput. Nah, jadi yang reliable itu seperti apa gitu ya. Jadi harusnya ada pendekatan proaktif. Jadi pada saat terjadi atau kemungkinan problem itu kita sudah bisa tahu. Kemudian apabila terjadi problem, ini recover-nya cepat gitu ya, MTTR-nya ini cepat gitu. Jadi kecil gitu ya. Jadi ini yang menjadi concern dari biasanya pengguna di VDI ya. Kemudian tentu ini juga harus memperhatikan bagaimana infrastruktur dan service delivery-nya ini didesain. Ya, jadi ini adalah beberapa hal yang menjadi concern dalam implementasi dari VDI. Ya, go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, thank you, Frankie. Okay. So now, what we have seen is like what is VDI, what are the benefits and advantages, and the typical challenges. Typical challenges, like there are 3 or 4 challenges we have. You may faced any one of the challenge also. Okay. Now we are going to address how we can solve those challenges with the help of EG Enterprise. Okay. So what we do for the digital workspace, right? Digital workspace or VDA. First thing is we measure the user experience, right? So when I say user experience, it could be real or it could be synthetic. Real is nothing but whenever the users are accessing the VDA, we measure the user experience. Synthetic is not real, which is done with the help of tools. So whenever no users are using your ecosystem, so you can make sure so the system is good and the logon is good and they're able to launch the applications quickly. So all these scenarios you can test or you can simulate with the help of synthetic tools, which is part of it. There is no separate tool. Whatever the features we are talking here, everything is part of a single tool. Single tool itself, everything is built in, right? And we support both VDA and underlying infrastructure, right? So VDA, maybe Citrix is supported, then Horizon is supported, AVD is supported, Workspace is supported, right? So we support the complete VDA supporting infrastructure. Maybe you may have AD, you may be having web servers, you may have other like underlying hypervisor platform storage. So everything is supported. Okay, so that means we monitor, we cover both the VDA TS as well as non-VDA, which is supporting TS, right? Everything is supported. Then we do the end-to-end correlation. We are not telling like, hey, the user end has got some problem or the network has a problem. So we discover the dependencies automatically. So here everything is automatic. We discover the dependencies automatically and we correlate the problem across each and every tier and tell you where is the real problem, right? So this is one important. We are telling you the root cause. So that means you need not look at a different console. You need not look at a different data. We will tell you, hey, this is the problem. Go and address it. That you can understand when I show the live demo, right? Again, when we have data, right? When we have data, we help you with the different reports, right? So we have reports for doing capacity planning, and when you have a problem you can understand the data with the help of different reports. So we have reports, analytics, and we use machine learning to do all these things, right? That's important, right? So as part of VDA, we help you with all these things to address the challenges what we saw in the earlier slide, right? So we do the real user experience monitoring, we do the synthetic monitoring, we support both Citrix or VDATS, non-VDATS, end-to-end correlation, and we have reports. So all these things, all the features, we are going to see it in the upcoming slide, right? One by one. It will start with user experience, then what we do for the VDA side, then how do we correlate the problems? Finally, we will the flow end with the reports, right? So moving on, right? When I say the user experience, so one is real, right? So we can monitor the real logon, we can monitor the latency, all these things so we can monitor, right? Again, we have a synthetic monitor. There are two techniques. One is logon. So this means this simulator or this bot, right? This robot will monitor only the user logon in the VDA ecosystem, right? Now we have another tool that is called client session simulator, right? So once the VDA is launched, then you want to interact with some other application, then you want to know how the application, you can simulate a workflow or you can simulate how quick that application access, how quickly you able to perform the task. So all these things you can simulate within a Citrix or a VDA session, right? So these are two techniques for the synthetic monitoring. Again, we are doing the real user monitoring where we will monitor the logons, right? Now, so as part of this user experience, right? So we monitor all the tiers. We monitor like a logon, right? Logon means, so we have Netscaler or storefront, right? So typically we access the VDA through Netscaler. Then you can monitor the logon time at the Netscaler. You can monitor the user logon, and the logon is a multi-step activity where you got multiple steps happening behind the scenes. So we can measure the time spent on each and every tier, right? Like the profile loading, GPO processing, session establishment, right? So all these things we can measure, right? Now, so once your session is established, So you want to interact, right? You want to interact. You try to launch some applications, right? So whether my application launch is faster or slow, right? All these things we can measure. Then other important parameters like the keystrokes, right? The interactions. When you try to play a video or any multimedia, then what is the bandwidth utilization, right? Then resource utilization within the session. So that also you can measure, right? So what we are doing, we are checking how fast the authentication, how fast the logon. If it is slow, we will tell you why the logon is slow, right? So whether the application launch is successful, if it is successful, how long it took to launch the application, right? So any delay on the user end. So all these things we can monitor as part of this VDI user experience monitoring, because these are significant parameters. These are significant parameters which is killing your user experience. If these KPI or if these parameters are good, you are offering a very good user experience to your end customers. Okay.
Sorry,
So now,
Anthony.
ya,
Bapak Ibu rekan-rekan, jadi ini menarik ya, karena ini adalah yang seringkali kita sebagai pengguna di VDI kurang notice ya, dan kemudian banyak isu yang terjadi dalam penggunaan ataupun pada waktu kita live ya menggunakan VDI. Ya, jadi pertama biasanya adalah autentikasi. Jadi ini yang isu yang biasanya besar ya, tapi biasanya pasti bisa integrate. Kemudian juga ada muncul juga adalah logonnya slow. Jadi ini yang paling banyak ya, lambat sekali untuk logon gitu ya. Dan ini yang paling headache sih sebetulnya dari sisi user, dia paling banyak komplainnya ini. Nah, ini macam-macam nih. Jadi bisa dari profile loading, bisa dari GPO processing ataupun juga session. Ya, yang dalam pengamatan yang sering sih biasanya sessionnya yang nggak establish sempurna gitu ya. Jadi ini yang sering kali muncul ya di masalah session establishment. Nah, kemudian once udah begitu muncul application-nya juga masih ada gitu ya. Jadi aplikasinya juga bisa aja lag, lambat gitu ya, atau loadingnya lola ya, jadi lambat loadingnya nih. Kemudian begitu sudah mulai kita mau kerja juga kita ketemu masalah lagi. Jadi misalnya pada waktu kita enter klik-klik gitu ya, dia nggak respon atau lambat latency. Jadi ada isu screen atau keystroke latency, ini juga sering terjadi. Nah, kalau di Indonesia terus terang masalah bandwidth ini penting, makanya dalam beberapa hal ada beberapa implementasi produk seperti Citrix ini jadi isu ya. Jadi harus dites dan harus ini dengan baik. Nah, kemudian biasanya adalah apa sih yang lewat. Jadi kalau misalnya audio, video biasanya itu isu, tapi yang paling biasanya yang kritikal dari sisi user biasanya ini adalah printer ya. Jadi mereka bisa remote printing begitu ya. Kemudian juga ada masalah terkait dengan resource yang digunakan ya. Jadi biasanya terkait dengan CPU, GPU dan memory disk ini yang di application access ini juga akan jadi concern. Inilah gunanya dilakukan monitoring ya di semua aspek terkait dengan Citrix user experience. Back to you, Anthony.
Okay, so let's move on as part of the logon monitoring, right? So what we can do is we can troubleshoot the slow logons, right? So this is one of the common problem. User will complain, hey, my logon is taking a lot of time, right? So we help to troubleshoot the slow logon issue, right? So we measure the logon time. We give you the breakup, because logon is a multi-step process. So we can give you the time spent on each and every step, right? So you can understand the overall time spent on the server and the overall one. Then you can troubleshoot whether it is on the profile loading, or is it on the GPO side, or is it on the group policy execution. Also, if for this case, the GPO execution is taking 38 seconds. Again, we can tell you what is the GPO supplied, right? So for this session, so 3 GPOs applied, but one of the drive mapping policy seems like a drive mapping policy took a lot of time, right? So we need to understand why this drive mapping is taking a lot of time. Is it a problem with the profile server or file server, or is it due to the network? So all these things we can troubleshoot so that we can improve the logon time. This is one scenario, right? So we help you to troubleshoot the slow logons. Now, for each and every user, right? Each and every user, we can give you the details of like where the user is coming, right? Then what is the latency, right? We can measure the latency. So if the latency is very higher, again, like you may have poor keystrokes, or you may have challenges in interacting with this application. Maybe you may click something, but your application may not be responsive, right? So all these things are due to latency issues. So in the Citrix or any VDI, we give you this kind of session topology. So this is applicable for any, whatever the feature we are talking about. It's applicable for Citrix, applicable for VMware, applicable for cloud desktop technologies like AVD and workspaces, right? So here we can give you for each and every user, we can tell you the login flow, right? So this is a topology which is talking about the time spent on each and every tier. So the user request go through the storefront, then broker, delivery controller. Again, the session got established on this server and the user is access to these applications, right? So we can give you the logon breakup and we can give you the session duration. So sometimes like the users session might be active, but the user might not be doing anything, right? So that also we can measure. We can measure active and idle time. Again, sometimes the high logon time is related to large sized profiles. So we can also tell you what is the profile size, and if the profile is very large, also we can tell you what are the largest files within the profile. So everything we could present as part of this visualization. So we call this as user experience dashboard, right? So user experience dashboard, where you have data to analyze a problem related to each and every user session, right? So if the logon is low, you can understand from here. Again, you can find out which tier causing the slowness or which step is causing the slowness, and the profile related details also. So various blocks. Again, yeah, this is related to this profile size. We can monitor the profile also. If there are large number of files, we can tell you this is the file. So due to this file, the user profile is large. If the user profile is large, yes, definitely logon will take time, because the logon will complete once the profile is loaded. Right? Now we have dashboards. Right? So these dashboards I can show you during the demo. However, we have different blocks. So these blocks represents different data, right? So the data bound to this user experience, session related things, application access related things, and the latency and the other like other alerts and other statistics, right, related to this PD ecosystem is presented in the form of different blocks, right? So you can see the resource utilization, right? Resource utilization by the Xenap servers and users coming from different region, right? So you can see the user experience by location, right? Then you can see what the user is accessing, right? Also the resource consumption. Whenever they launch different applications, again, like it may consume resources on the server, right? So you can monitor the top applications. So we have different options, right? We have blocks related to logon, user experience, and session related stuff, right? So everything is presented in a single unified dashboard, right? Now, so this is a correlation, right? Correlation. So this is something called a topology diagram. So this is drawn automatically. So you need not put it manually. This is automatic, 100% automatic. So once the agents are installed on the servers, so this will discover the dependencies. Any VD. So this is a topology diagram for a Citrix. So like you got user, you got Netscaler, you got storefront. So this is for broker, you got Xenap servers. Again, now your virtualized platform backend, right? So user till the storage is discovered completely. So this is discovered completely. Also, you could see color codes. That is telling what is the status on each and every tier. So what we do is we do the correlation end to end, and we tell you where is the real problem, right? So this is my VDI service, which is in critical state. Why? By looking at this diagram, I can tell you, hey, the root cause is on the hypervisor, right? So the root cause is on the hypervisor. So we correlate, user might be having a problem, storefront might be having a problem, but we are not telling all these are higher priority. Once the high priority on the virtualized tier is got addressed means, so rest will go away, right? So like this, we do the end-to-end correlation, and we shed the visibility across all the tiers, right? With this advantage of topology diagram, right? So we are telling what is the status each and every tier. Now this is the dependencies and this is the root cause, right? So like this, you can figure out the root cause in minutes, right? Again, we have alerts, right? So once the problem is detected, we show the alerts in the console. So these are automatically prioritized. So the one is the root cause, right? The one is on the root cause. The moment you address this, rest of the things will go away, right? So we send the alerts in the form of emails, SMS, WhatsApp messages. Again, we integrate with any trouble ticketing system also, right? So these are the various ways to notify the users and tell you where is the real problem, right? So this is on the real, right? This is on the real user experience and latency related stuff. Again, we are going to look at the synthetic user experience, right? So synthetic, we have logon simulator, which helps to measure the logon timing for every user from different location. So this is a scripted one. This is a pre-built scripted one, this bot, right? So what you will give is, you will give the credentials for a user. It will access the browser. It will log in, and the authentication happens automatically. It will access the application, whatever you are mentioning. Finally, it will close the session and it will log off, right? Then if there are any failures related to logon, if there are any failures related to application access, so this tool will let you know what is the real problem, right? So you can track each and every step in the logon activity, right? So everything will happen automatically. Once the tool is configured, all these things will happen automatically. So how is the flow, right? So how is the flow? This is the flow. The tool will launch the browser, will log in, automatically it will log in. So these are the desktops and applications assigned for you. So this will click the desktops and it will launch it automatically, right? So the flow, complete logon will happen automatically and it will log off, right? So we can measure the time spent on how much time, how much on this activity, how much on in this activity, everything we can measure and we can present it form of the visuals, right? So these are different application launches and you could see the timing, right? So for this Outlook, so logon took this much. For this one, desktop, the help desk application, so the application launch this much, right? So like this, you can monitor the slow logons and the slow application launches with the help of this logon simulator, right? Now, this is the visual representation, right? So the complete logon took this much time. This is the complete logon. Again, you could see the time spent on each and every tier, right? For this case, the application launch took a lot of time. Like overall time is 100 plus seconds. Again, 77 seconds took for the application launch itself, right? So like this, you can diagnose the slow application launches, slow logons with the help of a bot, right? With the help of a simulator. So this is synthetic. The earlier one is real time. So we support both synthetic and real time. So the metrics, right? So when you focus on the VDA, then again, you have different parameters. So we focus on the user experience, and these are the parameters helps to measure the user experience. And we monitor the performance of the delivery channels and user activity, whether they are active, how long they are active, how long they are idle. And when the session is active, what is the resource consumption? by the different application IOPS. So all these things we can measure. Again, we can monitor what the URLs accessed by the user, right? So let's say they have a desktop and they browse several URLs. You can track. Maybe they access to Google, they accessed this e-commerce site like this. You can track. Again, like how long they accessed, and are there any disconnects? So all these things you can monitor as part of this VDA sessions. Again, we are supporting the complete VDATS, right? It is for Citrix or VMware. So the complete Citrix or the VDATS are supported. So the supporting ecosystem, right? It could be a SQL database. Definitely you need a database, and it's an virtualized, right? A storage and the network, then the Microsoft services, everything is supported, right? So the whole thing is offered as part of this digital workspace monitoring to focus on the VDA tier as well as the non-VDA tiers, right? So this is how we help to improve the user experience or to address the challenges we spoke earlier with the help of our solution. Okay. So what you can get, right? So you can make sure the user experience is good. Again, you can make sure the service is available. Any lagging, slowness, and who are the users logged in, how many users logged in, how many users were active, and how long they idle, then what applications they accessed, then what is the resource consumption, right? So is there any problem in the cloud infrastructure or desktop utilization or any problem in the supporting infrastructure? So everything we can deliver as part of this digital space monitoring. Okay. So Frankie, you want to translate?
Ya, jadi ini beberapa hal yang memang menjadi perhatian penting ya, bagaimana user experience untuk desktop ataupun laptop user. Ya, jadi tadi kita sudah lihat ada dua kemampuan untuk bisa melakukan measuring logon. Apakah ada lag, jadi ada slow apa enggak, itu juga menjadi perhatian penting ya. Kemudian pada waktu dia logon, berapa lama dia akan tetap aktif, ini juga menjadi concern ya, karena kalau kita kerja dengan langsung environment kita sendiri, ini bisa dilakukan dengan ini ya. Tapi kalau kita digital workspace itu kan kita ngakses sesuatu yang ada di remote server sebetulnya ya, kita menggunakan resource yang ada di remote server. Nah, jadi ini kita juga harus notice terkait dengan ini. Sorry, Anthony, the next slide. Ya, kemudian aplikasi ini yang mana yang kita akses gitu ya. Jadi ini yang juga karena apa? Karena mungkin aplikasi tertentu karena dia ringan itu mudah ya. Mungkin ada yang paling umum misalnya Office application gitu. Jadi itu biasanya nggak terlalu banyak isu. Tapi kalau misalnya dengan aplikasi spesifik, aplikasi-aplikasi yang mungkin heavy di servernya, ini bisa jadi ada problem ya. Nah, termasuk juga bagaimana sebetulnya cloud infrastructure ataupun infrastruktur dari CVDI-nya ini kita desain ataupun kita hosting untuk virtual desktop ya, karena beberapa teknologi tertentu mungkin ada challenge-nya ya, ada kerumitannya begitu maksud saya. Nah, kemudian biasanya juga jumlahnya juga sangat mungkin di scaling up. Jadi misalnya tahap pertama dia masuk misalnya cuma 100 ya, kemudian dia naik lagi bisa sampai 200 ribuan bahkan ya. Nah, ini tentu infrastrukturnya akan sangat berbeda ya, termasuk dengan network yang digunakan untuk mendukung banyak sekali user yang mengakses resources secara bersamaan. Ya, jadi ini yang mesti kita perhatikan juga. Oke, back to you, Anthony.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So this is completely on this monitoring side. So we looked at the different parameters, what we gather for related to this logon monitoring, user experience monitoring, and profile size monitoring. Again, we have different visuals for doing this end-to-end root cause analysis. Like we have dashboards, we have topology diagrams, which is pinpointing the root cause. Again, we have alarm window where you could see the problems, right? Again, these are the deliverables, right? So we gather these performance data. So now we have different reports, right? So basically, out of the box, you can categorize our report into 4 categories. One is like if you look at any VDA, so these are the different phases. Like typically you will plan your VDA, then you will size your VDA, finally you will optimize. So typically any VDA project lifecycle will go through these phases. So we have reports which helps to do this, the VDA sizing, where you can plan the sizing, and you can right size your infra well, you can optimize it well, and we have some reports to do this auditing part also, right? So out of the box, we gather data and deliver reports based on these categories, right? So the generic report, right? So we have some generic reports also. So reports which works for executives, top level executives, reports applicable for who's doing the day-to-day operations. Again, reports related to network system applications, and the domain specific reports also available. Okay, these are common, right? So here we will focus some of the reports. I want to show you some reports related to this VDE ecosystem, right? So first one is, I can analyze the logon performance over time, right? Maybe I can pick up a monthly window, right? I can understand how many logons. So over a month, what is the average logon duration? Again, what is the max logon duration? If the logon is high, then which step in the logon took time, the trend, right? So you have different blocks, right? You have different blocks which is showing the logon performance over time. Again, you can compare the logons, like the duration, right? The duration. So whenever the logon is high, whether the duration is getting increased or not, that also you can monitor. So the trend of the logon, again, you could see the breakup, right? So if the logon is low, the reports also will show you the breakups. Then you can show the logon details for each and every user, right? So this report is completely for analyzing the logon performance, right? So if the user is complaining on a particular window, you can generate this report and you can analyze and you can help them with the record data. Okay, now behavior, right? So behavior means once the user is logged in, so they might be doing accessing your application, or they may be idle, or they may be active, right? So the behavior of the user you can monitor. So these are the different users. So they logged them. This is their login time. This time they logged off, right? Maybe you can say the total connect time. So here, if the working hours is 8 hours, you can measure how long they are idle, how long they are active. So these things we measure based on the keystrokes, right? So we measure based on the keystrokes. So you can identify the user behavior, what applications they launched, how long they use these applications, right? So that also we can monitor as part of this behavior. User behavior, again, like application behavior, right? So what are the frequently accessed applications? Are there any crashes while launching the application, right? Any slow launches, right? What is the resource consumption by the application? So we have different blocks here. We have different blocks. You can monitor the logon trends, you can monitor the launch times, you can monitor the latency, and you can monitor, there are multiple tabs also. So overall, in general, you can focus on sessions, you can focus on applications, you can focus on the server performance also, right? So the single report will focus on different areas, and it has data based on the tab, whatever you highlight. If you want to see application, you can see it here. Again, if you select on the session performance, you could see the session performance, right? A single report focusing on different areas. So this is the maximized view, right? This is one important report, right? So you could focus on different parameters. Again, capacity, for example, so you need to size the server. You have the servers, so you need to measure what is the maximum sessions supported in each and every server based on the available resources, right? So like this, you can see like how many sessions. Maybe it may be average utilized, or maybe this may have least resources but overloaded with 100+ sessions like this, right? So you can see the sessions per server, you can see the top longest sessions, all these things. So this is helps in the capacity part, right? You can optimize it. If a server is overloaded with too many sessions, you can optimize, like you can balance, you can add more servers, or you can balance the workload. So this is to optimize the capacity. Now planning, right? So I have a hypervisors. I need to know how many VMs that I can host on the hypervisor based on the available resources. So this report helps, right? So based on the available CPU capacity, this is telling you can host this many VMs. Again, like based on the available memory, like so you can host this many VMs. Like this, this reports give some insights. So here, this is talking about like with available CPU, you can host more VMs, but there is a bottleneck in the memory, which is preventing the expansion, right? If you add memory, you can add more resource, more VMs. Like this, this planning report helps. Now migration, right? So you may migrate between Citrix to VMware, or maybe on-premise to cloud, right? So when you do the migration, you want to analyze how is the performance before and after migration, right? So this migration report really helps to do this. Again, we have a prediction report. So this reports uses machine learning. So where you have the load, right? You can say currently I have this many, right? So when you increase the load, then this will tell you how many extra servers you need, right? So currently my need is 20, right? If I increase this by another 1,000 users, so what will be my CPU? What will be my memory? You can adjust the slider and you can see what is the increase in memory, what is the increase in disk space, and how many additional servers you need to accommodate such load, right? So this prediction report helps to achieve those things, right? So now what you can get it, right? You can, yeah, we saw when will be the VD user is happy. So we can make the user happy, right? We can achieve user satisfaction by delivering or a very good user experience, right? And it's productive, right? It's a productive. Again, you can make sure the service is available all the time, and this is simple, and you have cost control, and you are getting ROI, right? So these are the benefits that you can get as part of this video offering. So as part of summary, right? Summary, like, yeah, we monitor the user experience monitoring, both real and synthetic. Then we do the correlation across all the Ts and pinpoint where is the real problem, right? So we focus on the VDA stack, right? VDA technology stack as well as non-VDA. The supporting infra, both are covered as part of this solution. Again, the important thing is like we support the top 4 solution offering, like Citrix, VMware, AVD, and Amazon Workspaces, right? So this is these are the benefits that you can get it by using our tool for the digital workspace monitoring. Okay. So Frankie, you want to summarize before I jump into the live demo?
Ya, jadi ini kesimpulannya beberapa ya. Jadi kita bisa melakukan EUM. Jadi ini namanya User Experience Monitoring ya. Di berbagai tools mereka mengenal istilah ini, dan ini ada 2 model, jadi ada yang real atau yang sintetik. Sintetik itu simulasi. Kemudian biasanya memang diperlukan bisa menghubungkan atau mengkorelasikan terkait dengan problem-problem yang mungkin muncul ya, dan ini dari sisi user dan juga infra yang ada gitu ya. Jadi korelasi ini biasanya dilakukan dengan menggunakan tools. Nah, kemudian berikutnya tentu dalam EG kita bisa lihat tadi ada disampaikan beberapa reporting yang menunjukkan status ya, kondisi dari VDI dan arsitektur ataupun environment yang mungkin ada gitu ya. Jadi itu yang menjadi concern dari EG ya. Oke, Anthony.
Okay, yeah. So the next part is live demo. So the scenarios, like I'll be using our demo portal, right? So we have multiple demo scenarios. Let me go to this demo setup. So the demo scenario is like, so there is a VDA. So here the application access only. So many users are facing high resource utilization because they run very simple applications, right? So they run maybe there are Java developers, they run simple Java programs, but their session utilization is very high. We don't know what is the root cause, right? So everywhere, like the resource utilization is high, so that is an outage faced in the infra. So where we have enabled this easy monitoring for this, right? So I'll pick this scenario which contains it's a Citrix, so the complete Citrix. So once I click on the demo scenario, so this is our console. Okay, this is our console. So there is a pop-up window. There is a pop-up window up front. So this will list down all the problems. So we capture all the problems, we prioritize it automatically and tell you where is the root cause. The one stays on the top is the root cause. Stays on the top is the root cause. The moment you fix this, the other things might vanish, right? So these are errors are major issue, like, and you got yellow, these are minor issues, right? So let me close this. And this is the main monitoring dashboard. This is the main monitoring dashboard. So which is telling you like what is going in your infra. So we monitor the Zen app, we monitor this Citrix related things, and we have something Active Directory SQL, which is supporting VDATS, right? So things are doing good. Some doing good means these are which are in red, right? So something, one of the hypervisor is not doing good, we don't know. So what we do is we group all the servers into different groups. So we call it as services. So right now we have grouped all the servers into two categories. So one is related to this service, partner access. Another one is related to the cloud service, Citrix cloud, right? So both are not doing good because you got the status is not good, some errors, right? So let me start with the service. Let me click on this service. So first we will measure the user experience with the help of tools, right? So we have enabled a synthetic monitoring for this also. So this is saying many steps, many activities, but logon is fine. Logon is fine, which is slow, good only. But application access is slow. It's 13 seconds. Again, they do some activities within this application that is also slow. That means, so this user is not facing a good user experience because the application access is taking much time, right? Now, let me look at the real things, right? So this is a simulation. Let me look at the real users, right? So for the real users, yeah, like application launch, taking time, again the logon, the startup time is also high. We could see the other blocks like the application, top 10 application launch, what is the average, then we have latency. So many things we have, right? So all these things are telling me something is wrong in the VDA ecosystem. So we have other blocks like you can see the logon performance here. You can see the logon for different users, right? So for this users, the logon is taking time. Again, many of the application is taking time. Then you can see the session performance. You can see the application related things, everything in a single unified dashboard, right? So now my user experience is not good. Then I need to understand the VDA architecture. So this is the topology diagram where I can see the complete VDA architecture. So this is automatically built where I could see the different years, right? So different years, like things are good, things are not doing good, right? But I want to start with the most severe problem, not all these things, right? So in this diagram, this is telling me the next step, right? So this is telling me Zen app. In this ecosystem, this Zen app having a major problem. Go and check, right? So now let me click on it. So if I click on it, then again, I'm getting one more visual, right? So this visual, we call it as virtual topology. That means this is telling me my Zen app is hosted on a hypervisor. So basically it's a virtualized infra. There are other VMs. So we do a correlation across the VMs and the hypervisor, and the outcome is go and check the hypervisor, which has got some critical outage. So let me click on it. So in the hypervisor tier, basically we group all the data in the form of layers. So we have different layers. So within the layer, we group all the performance metrics. So you have a different layered architecture starting from hardware, hypervisor, network, virtual network, processes, and this is VM related performance. So we do the correlation here and tell you, hey, go and check the VMs. Nothing wrong in the hypervisor. Something to do with one of the desktop or one of the VM on the hypervisor. Okay, so let me click on it. So there are many VMs, but one of the VM is in critical state. So let me see what is happening inside the desktop or VM. So here some outage, right? Okay, so now I got the problem. Okay, so in the hypervisor world, the resources are shared, either CPU, memory, disk resources, everything is shared. So this is a VM taking full CPU, right? Full CPU. So it is 99%. So the CPU utilization is 99%. This one of the VM is taking resources, right? So due to this, other VMs are running out of resources, which is impacting my user access, right? Now, why this VM is taking time? There is a magnifying glass. Click on it. This will tell you the root cause, right? Yeah. So this looks like user is running a program called samba.exe. So this looks like a backup program. Maybe it may be a backup server or it might be a DB. So he runs a backup job, which is taking a lot of CPU. So maybe we need to advise the user to schedule this on non-peak hours so that maybe it may not consume any resources. So which will not impact other user sessions, right? So like this, we found the user session is taking time, and we found maybe the XenApp is a problem. No, the XenApp is not a problem. Now we correlate and tell we found the root cause. One of the VM is taking a lot of CPU resources that is impacting this VM. So what is the impact? Go and check within this Citrix server, right? So here again, yeah, everything is good. But if you look at one of the user, yeah, he's a developer. Scott is a developer, but he is taking 93% CPU. One user is taking this much, right? So that means other users will get impacted. Why this session is alone taking much time? We can see, yeah, it's a simple Java code, right? So basically this XenApp is ran out of resources because the other VM on the hypervisor took a lot of CPU resources and giving no room for other XenApp servers. That's why even if it is a simple Java code also, that is taking time, right? So once we fix the CPU resource on the hypervisor, and this session will not take much resources, so that the user experience for Scott also will be improved, right? So like this, we try to focus on every tier. Every tier we look at all the tiers. Now the problematic tier is on the hypervisor. So once the problem is addressed, so complete user experience will be improved. Okay. Frankie, do you want to summarize this flow?
No, go ahead.
Okay, right. So other than that, yes, we will tell you the breakup of the logon. Like for every user, you could see where the user is coming and the overall logon time, which is 20 seconds. Again, you could see the breakup, right? So now, again, yeah, dashboards are available, and you could create customized dashboards also. We have a dashboard engine where you can create your dashboard based on your own needs. So we have different built-in options. Maybe there are different widgets. So with the help of widgets, like you can add the different widgets, and you can meet your dashboard criteria. Okay. So this is the templates also available. With the help of templates also, you can build the dashboard. Now I want to show some reports. Okay. Yes, as I said, we have 100+ reports covering different audience and different use cases. So we have reports for covering the top level executives, where you can see the KPI health, complete KPI health. You can see the top events. You can do the uptime, downtime analysis. You can have reports for supporting day-to-day operations, and you have analytical reports, the many analytical reports and capacity planning reports also available. Now I am interested in showing some Citrix specific or VDA specific report, right? So the VDA specific, these are generic reports available for all the technologies, but these are available for a particular technology. If it is on VDA, yes, you will see all these things. Okay, since it is on Citrix, you have reports related to Citrix, but moreover, the reports are common, right? So you can see how this XenApp is performing, right? So we have XenApp servers, and so what is the user experience? So we have the 6,000 plus logons, right? So this is the maximum logon duration, and you have the breakup, you have the trend of total and slow logons, then you have application launches, so average logon duration, all these things. So we have different tabs, right? If you want to see the application performance, you could see the application performance, right? So like this, 2 times the PowerPoint is launched, and the resources consumed by different applications you can see here. Again, you can see the so many reports related to sessions, right? So if you want to see the current ongoing sessions, you can click on it. So here the timeline is very common. You can pick any timeline, and you can run the reports across all the things. So yeah, this is saying users and what, when they logged in, when they log out, how long the session time, how long they are active, right? So this user, like the overall time, 480 seconds, but 20 minutes he is idle, 460 minutes he is active, right? So also you can understand what is the application access to all these things. Now you can export all the reports in the form of a PDF, or you can schedule it automatically. That means you need not come and generate these reports automatically. You can create a monthly, weekly, daily schedules, so that you will receive all these reports in the inbox, right? So you have a lot of reports related to sessions. You can see the logon performance report, slow logons, so many reports. So these are the reports available for, you can see the summary, also you got various the details. If you want to see the overall details, you can run the reports. So this is showing the details related to logons, right? So you have the average logon duration and the breakup. Then you could see the slow logons, right? So slow logons, you can understand right now no data, but if there are slow logons, you can understand the active idle time, and there are reports related to application. So here the reports are huge, like a lot of reports available. So it is difficult to cover all these reports in a short period of time. So here you can at a higher level, so we have reports bound to sessions, bound to users, applications, and the capacity planning reports also, right? Whatever I was talking about related to this VDA or application, you can see this. Then if it is in VDA, we can see the broker related reports also available. Then at the bottom, there are many reports on the hypervisors, related to hypervisors, related to desktops. If there are VM moving, then you can see this vMotions, all these things, right? So overall, we have many reports covering a different audience, different use cases. Okay, yeah, that's all for the live demo. Now it's a time for Q&A. If there are any questions, maybe you can shoot it up, so we can help to clarify this.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Anthony. I think we have some question already.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay. From Pak Hardi, what are the minimum requirement for VDI? Number 2, what is the difference between DAAS and VDI?
What is the minimum requirement?
Yeah, Tim, go ahead.
Sorry, I think sorry, is the question is what is the minimum requirement? When you say minimum requirement, what do they mean? Like the setup or what? To monitor?
Yeah. I think if we want to focus on the EG, I think more on the VDI monitoring, yeah. let's change the question to what is the minimum requirement for VDI monitoring. Okay, is it possible?
Okay. Yeah. So Anthony, maybe you can answer
Yeah,
it from
it
the
depends
point
on
of.
the workload. Typically,
Yeah.
like EG, if you look at EG architecture, so we have a management console, and this management console will use a backend DB. We support SQL Server and Oracle as a backend. So again, the sizing or minimum requirement, it depends on what do you want to monitor, what parameters you want to monitor, how frequently you want to monitor. Based on that, we can give you the sizing. Again, it depends on the workload or what do they want to monitor.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I will answer. Okay. Maybe you want to answer first. I will give another view of it. Yeah. Frankie, maybe you want to translate Anthony's answer, or
Yeah. Continue, please.
okay. Now there are depends on how in depth you want to monitor. You can take what do you call a synthetic monitoring approach. You can take a infra approach, or you can take a whole end-to-end experience monitoring approach. Right. So it largely depends on how in depth you want to monitor. For some customers, they may not want to monitor everything. For a start, they want to just understand the user experience, for example, right? And then after that, then they say, okay, they want to go further. So I think there is no hard and fast rule what are the requirements. It largely depends on what do you want to see first. As Anthony has shared earlier on, we can see the user experience. We can look at the session droppings. We can look at the end-to-end, right? And even to help you to look into the capacity from the reporter, right? So it depends on what each what do you call that? Each customer, what their requirements are, right? Yeah. So Anthony, the second question that they ask is, what's the difference between VDI and DAAS?
Desktop as a service.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, both are same, but the second one refers to the service model. Daas.
Yeah. So VDI
A desktop as a service. Daas means a desktop as a
Yeah.
service.
Yeah. So basically, basically when you do a DAS, you don't own the infrastructure, you just subscribe to the service. Whereas VDI, you have the infrastructure. Yeah. So that basically is the difference. Just as in a software as a service. Yeah. So DAS. So we hope we answered your question.
Ya. So jadi Bapak Ibu rekan yang DAS itu kita tidak memiliki infrastrukturnya, tapi kalau VDI itu kita infrastruktur sendiri gitu ya. Jadi itu yang perbedaan utamanya. Oke, next question. Oke, this from Pak Krisnu Groho ya. The cost, I think the cost Citrix to time for the PC, I think depends. I go to second number 2 is how the method for the scalability VDI Citrix if more than 500, 1000 desktop virtual that to avoid the failure, yeah, for area restrictive remote control. I don't know about the confine space. Okay, I think more on the scalability of the VDI Citrix if more than 500 to 1000 desktop virtual to avoid the failure. What do you think, Anthony or Tim?
Anthony, you want to answer it first, or you
okay?
want me to?
This one basically we are a VDI monitoring tool. We are a VDI monitoring tool. That means we do this performance monitoring for the VDI. So as part of this performance monitoring, we help with this capacity reporting also. Okay. So I think the question seems to be more on this VDI load testing. That means VDI load testing. We don't do load testing, but they can size and they can optimize the VDA with the help of our capacity planning reports. So there are tools which is operates differently or focus only on this VDA load testing, like they can measure the scalability. Then at this point of time, maybe it will fail like this. There are some load testing tools available, but we are a complete performance monitoring tool, and we help to size the VDA as well as we help to optimize the VDA ecosystem. We are not doing the load testing for or scalability testing for the VDA infra.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, another way of answering this question, right? Sorry, who's the one who asked this question?
Pak Krisnu Groho.
Pak Chris. Okay,
Yeah.
so the reason why a lot of people sometimes ask this question is they do not want to under provision or over provision.
Correct.
Right? I think that's the question. Now, in the VDI, there are different type of workload. There are utility workload. There are advanced user workload where the compute requirement is different. Some users may require more CPU type of workload, where some may use more maybe more what they call GPU type of workload, depending, right? So the thing is that when the user, when you're trying to provision and you want to make sure you want to make sure that the user experience is good. So very often people oversize the VM. Okay, oversize, and at the end they don't get a good ROI. Now, from EG's perspective, the most important thing is, now if the user is slow, it does not mean that you undersize. First, you need to understand where is the problem, right? So by monitoring end to end, right, taking a whole view of it, EG can tell you now when users are slow, it doesn't mean that your VM your VM is slow or your VM is undersized. Very often the mistake a lot of people make is that when users say they are slow and then they do not know what the issues are, sometimes they end up giving more resources and then the ROI drops. Okay, so knowing where the real issues are allow you to provision correctly, right? If the user does really need that kind of workload, then you just have to provision that. But before that, you want to know if the problem, if they are slow, they say slow. Is it because of the network issue? Is it because a broker issue? When they're having issue, is it a print issue? Whatever issue you want to know before you start to over provision. Even if you do over provision, you want to be able to monitor it. Even if you give more compute after that, you want to be able to monitor and see how much resource they are using. And over time, and you can only do that if you have enough visibility, right? And over time, then you can probably reduce. But very often, once you give more CPU or memory for the user, to reduce it, many people don't want to reduce because they don't want to take the risk of having a complaint from the user. So the best way is whenever there's an issue, find out where the root cause first before you increase the compute to the user.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Pak Chris, I hope I answered your question. If not, maybe you can have another separate session, and maybe Anthony can understand more about your infrastructure, so that probably can share more details with you.
Pak Chris itu ya. Jadi saya highlight yang pertanyaan nomor 2. Kalau yang 3 tadi pertanyaannya kurang lebih tadi sudah dijawab sama Anthony. Jadi masalah scalability dan provisioning ini yang memang menjadi isu biasanya setiap kali dalam kita melakukan atau merencanakan implementasi VDI ya. Oke, Pak Sandi Saputra. The next question ya from Pak Sandi Saputra. Okay, can these tools can also monitoring another infra such as server, network, and etc.
Yes, it can.
Yeah, I think on
they
the
can
first
visit
slide,
our website. We covered in the website. Again, they can see our website, which is www.EGInnovations. .com. Okay. So if you visit our website, then you could see you can scroll down. So on the bottom, you could see the list of supported technologies. If you click on it, yes, we support both infra. Infra means whatever you have within your data center, right? So your hardware, devices, servers, storage. So all these things covered, right? So if you want to see what technologies, what tools are supported, you can filter here, right? So maybe on the network. So what we do, right? So you could see these things are supported, right? These things are supported. So all these things under network stack. Storage. So what are the storage models supported? You can see here, right? Then application side, right? Or you can see all the platform. You can filter by Citrix. You can filter by database, maybe by database. So we support all these things, all the databases. Like this, you can explore our site, which gives more idea on the supported technology.
Oke.
Ya.
Ya, jadi Pak Sandi ini bisa untuk dimonitor infra dan apa tadi aplikasi juga ya banyak ya, storage dan lain sebagainya, database juga bisa. Jadi tadi sudah dijelaskan di slide awal, memang EGInnovation bisa jadi satu platform, bisa gunakan dan untuk monitoring banyak hal ya. Itu ya Pak Sandi ya. Oke, thank you Pak Sandi. Jadi pertanyaan berikutnya Pak Restu bertanya about the VDI implementation related to the data security, how to minimize the risk related to the security. Is there any way that the EG also monitoring the risk of the security?
Hey, sorry, maybe I like to just add on to what the question about whether EG can monitor infrastructure and other applications,
Yeah.
right? I think Anthony has shared, right? So apart from just looking at VDI, a lot of our customers use us to understand the user experience of their web application, ERP, and I think if you joined us previously, we also mentioned about APM to understand the user's application, right? So just now in the presentation earlier, Anthony also shared we take a converged approach to monitor application and infrastructure. So you can go to our website, right? Under the solution, you can see the details there, right? Monitoring all the different type of application, and some of the use cases are there. If you need to know more, you can approach Pak Frankie. Pak Frankie is our friend and partner in Jakarta, Indonesia. So he can also provide you with additional information. Okay, now we'll go to the question of security, Anthony.
Yeah. So you want to take it up?
No, you can continue.
Okay. Okay. Frankly, like as mentioned, we are more on purely on the performance side. Like security. So the question is related to how do you protect the data in the VDA, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So like security side, we are not doing. We are not covering the security part. But again, when we monitor the desktops, we don't take any user data from the desktop. So we gather the performance data, and the data is also securely transmitted over network. So that means there is no data breach due to monitoring. But like if they are talking about how to protect the data and how to secure the data means, so we are completely on the performance space.
Ya. Oke, jadi itu ya pertanyaannya. Terakhir Pak Eko Purwanto, how our digital business relies on excellent application performance so that it can satisfy for our customer. Relies on excellent application performance, ya. How our digital business relies on excellent application performance so that it can satisfy our customer. I think you can highlight on the application performance features, Anthony?
Yeah. So basically, like if you look at this slide, yeah. So if you focus on this, like we do this user experience monitor for the digital applications. Okay. So what we do is this is called application performance monitoring. So it could be this is supported for web-based applications. So we start with this real user experience monitoring. So the real user experience monitoring will tell you where is the problematic tier in the application side, right? It could be on the user end or it could be within the application also. So what we do is, yes, we support the digital user experience monitoring, and we trace all the transactions happening on the backend side. We deep dive into the code level and tell you if there are high resource utilization code, and if there are any code level issues, that also we highlight as part of this application performance monitoring. Then we monitor the application servers, we monitor the runtime. If it is a Java based stack, then we monitor the JVM and tell you if there are any blocked threads and costly threads, and we monitor the heap utilization. So like this, we have a lot of application performance monitoring capabilities, which helps to improve the user experience of this digital apps or as part of their digital business offering.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also want to add now, user satisfaction and your quality of your digital business, a lot has to do with how the user experience your system. Now there are two things. One is when the user is using, definitely if the user experience is not good, right? You need to find out where the issues are, right? EG can monitor and tell you where the issues are. I think that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I think the more important thing is, yes, even if you don't use a monitoring product like EG, after some time, all the analysis, diagnosis, you may find out where the problem. But if you take too long to find the problem, the business continue to suffer, and you suffer from reputation, because if your system is always slow, or sometimes the sessions are being dropped, or transaction is being dropped, user experience is not good, right? And then whenever there's an issue, if you are going to take a long time to solve the problem, customers will go away. Now, of course, it depends on what type of customers. If you are doing if you have a online business, if you are in the government, your users are going to, especially if you are in the government sector, you provide a public service, the government, the users are going to make complaints, and that's not good for the organization or for the government. If you are servicing your internal business, let's say, for example, you have a ERP, and if the ERP is slow and have issues, there is a lot of impact across the whole organization. So your users are internal users, right? So it is important to take the converged approach to not just look at the application, but also to look at how the infrastructure affects the application. And that is what EG is doing. We look at the application and the infra monitoring and the infra to help you to identify where the issues are, right? Be it whether it's VDI or is it e-commerce or public service, it's all the same.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Tim. Okay, I think that's the last question. Norma, back to you, Norma.
Oke,
Norma,
Pak.
monitor. Ya,
Oke.
silakan foto dulu bersama.
Oke. Terima kasih kepada para peserta atas pertanyaan sudah masuk. Sebelum saya mengumumkan 3 orang terpilih pemenang voucher OPPO Rp100.000, kita akan foto bersama-sama dahulu. Mohon untuk dapat menyalakan kameranya.
Silakan nyalakan kameranya, kita foto bersama dulu. Kayaknya kalau sesinya bahasa Inggris agak berat nih, pertanyaannya susah-susah keluarnya.
Oke, saya hitung sampai 3. 1, 2, 3. Bentar.
Silakan nyalakan videonya.
Oke,
Sudah?
sudah. Bapak mau nyampe closing statement atau aku ngomongin dulu?
Sebentar, saya closing statement dari tim dulu. Go ahead, Tim. Any closing statement from Tim or Anthony?
Yeah, I'm done from my end.
Yep.
Tim?
Thank you very much. And I think, Pak, you wanted to speak about the what they call it, the one-to-one consultation.
Oh, oke.
Yeah.
Ya, jadi Bapak Ibu rekan-rekan, jadi silakan apabila memang nanti perlu menggali lebih dalam ya kebutuhan terkait dengan VDI monitoring ataupun juga application performance ya. Jadi kalau yang sekarang sih terus terang yang lagi ramai nih adalah application performance monitoring ya. Jadi tools-tools seperti yang EGInnovation berikan ini sangat membantu ya. Nah, jadi kita bisa berikan free one-to-one consultation dengan EG ya, timnya EG. Jadi langsung kita akan bisa setup online meetings dengan timnya EG. Mungkin 3 sampai 5 orang ya yang tertarik ya. Jadi silakan kontak ke tim kami sales@DC Monitoring atau sales@DC Monitoring atau DCM Sales@DC Mandiri. Nanti tim kami akan bantu untuk schedulekan untuk one-on-one discussion terkait dengan application performance monitoring ataupun secara khusus nanti dengan VDI ya. Jadi buat Bapak Ibu rekan-rekan yang biasa sudah punya environment VDI ini akan perlu tools-tools seperti yang EG bisa provide ya. Oke, tim.
Alright. Okay. Thank you.
Ya, silakan Nurma.
Baik, saya akan mengumumkan 3 orang terpilih pemenang voucher OPPO Rp100.000. Yang pertama, Bapak Kris Nugroho Prakoso. Ada Pak Kris?
Pak Kris saya lagi di lapangan tuh tadi pakai helm.
Ada. Hadir.
Ya, selamat ya Pak.
Ya.
Yang kedua, Pak Restu Agustiawan. Ada Pak Restu? Yang ketiga, Pak Sandi Saputra. Ada Pak Sandi?
Ya, ya hadir.
Ya,
Ya,
selamat.
Pak Sandi.
Ya, selamat ya Pak. Selamat kepada 3 orang terpilih pemenang voucher OPPO senilai Rp100.000. Nanti akan kami hubungi setelah acara ini selesai. Terima kasih semua atas partisipasinya dalam webinar hari ini. Sampai bertemu di webinar kami selanjutnya. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sampai jumpa.
Terima kasih semua
Okay.
ya.
Thank you.
Thank you Anthony, thank you
Thank
tim.
you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Ya. Sertifikat gimana tuh Mbak Nurma? Tadi udah dikasih belum linknya?
Sertifikat nanti isi form ya. Kalau
Udah ada.
emang formnya ketinggalan nanti chat aku aja.
Ya, oke.
Thank you.
Ya, terima kasih semua. Sampai jumpa. Tetap sehat ya.